I really don't know what I'm gonna sing about until I'm singing about it. Really creating that ambiance, echoes of like perhaps memory, ancestry. I don't know, it just feels like a very beautiful spiritual experience to me, using my voice as my main instrument. I love the experience of really finding something as it's happening. They can make sure calling us to listen at all times, to understand the different phases. That's where you get the balance. Hi, my name is Kélanie, and I just released a new song called Listen to the Moon, and this is my behind the lyrics video. I just finished doing my own lunar ritual, which is basically just me taking some intentional time to sit down, and I like to surround myself with the 4 elements. So I have a little mint iced tea with me representing water. I have candles lit up to represent fire. I have rocks and urukum to represent the earth. Then I also have Palo Santo burning to represent the wind. And I like sitting down and looking at the things of what's going on in my inner world and really allowing myself to connect to the different cycles that we experience in life. That's the biggest lesson that the moon has always taught me, and I like to do that on a new moon and on a full moon. I've always been so in love with the moon ever since I was a little girl. It's always been this symbol of constant force. It felt like no matter what happened in my life, what phase I was in, the moon was always there. And that just felt very comforting to me growing up. I write all of my music in freestyle. My whole creative process, journey, with writing music and putting myself out there as a singer, songwriter, comes from this really beautiful process of freestyling. I really don't know what I'm gonna sing about until I'm singing about it, and I love the experience of just the element of surprise and of really finding something as it's happening and then embracing it even further as I go along in the creative process, beyond just the first demo all the way till it's ready for production. It was just a very organic, beautiful process. It felt like an ode to my relationship with the moon. And talking about freestyling and not necessarily sitting down and like writing lyrics, just letting them flow through you, something that I really love about freestyling, it opens up space for unconscious language to show up. At least that's what I'm calling it, unconscious language. Because if I sit down and I try to write the lyrics to a song, I will have some sort of a verbal consciousness, right? Like I'll try to say something, I'll come up with the words. And I think that's also super beautiful and valid. But I'm so interested in what's beneath it all and what shows up. And something really interesting happens when I do that, which is normally you would say, oh, you should see the moon, right? Not listen to the moon. You have those contrasting words that in a way they won't make a lot of sense. You know what I'm talking about, right? And that's something that really caught my eye with this song. When I was singing, it was just like, oh, the moon is calling. You know, that was like really interesting. And I really loved how just this thing about being called to listen. I think making sure it's pretty much calling us to listen at all times. And as an indigenous person, going back to my ancestry, really connecting to my roots, it has been nothing but listening to nature call me. And I think the moon has been the doorway for me to enter this beautiful connection to nature, to its cycles, to its lessons, and it has allowed me so much flexibility in my life and how I, navigate being human and being here and living here. And so Something else that's really special about this song and about this specific music chapter is vocal layering. I have been figuring out who I am as an artist, and all of the songs that I've released so far have been beautiful documentations of my process, finding myself and finding what my sound is and what's like a really strong pillar and element to my sound. And, you know, as I started writing this song and a few other songs that are part of a larger project, one of the biggest things that has presented itself to me has been vocal layering and really creating like an ambiance of like voices. It's just a bunch of different vocals that I do, but I like building up that ambience. And I feel like when you hear voices together, whether there's your voice stacked upon other tracks of your own voice or like a choir, or when you sing with other people, there's something so ethereal, so otherworldly, so beautiful and spiritual about that. And that has been something that has shown up a lot in my music. And I wrote Listen to the Moon pretty much a cappella. I just created the vocal layers and everything until I felt like, okay, like I found a base for this. And I'll even share a little clip with you.
The moon is calling, the moon is calling, the moon is calling, the moon is calling.
So, really creating that ambiance and feeling like just echoes of like perhaps memory, ancestry. I don't know, it just feels like a very beautiful spiritual experience to me, and it's something that I love using in my music. And whenever I go into the studio and I'm gonna produce with my co-producers, it's always about like how can we best serve the vocals, and it almost becomes, or it becomes its own instrument, which is a big thing for me, is using my voice as my main instrument. And yeah, this song is super special to me, and I'm so glad that I was able to create that environment. To me, when I listen to this song, I feel like I'm in the forest and it's like super dark, but you know when you can see because the full moon is like just so bright that you swear like you can see everything. That's the feeling that I have when I listen to the song. When you understand the cyclical nature of life, you understand the different phases, and you understand that that's where you get the balance, when you allow yourself to go through the different phases and to experience what every chapter is trying to either show you, what you're experiencing. Just be very intentional with that time. And to me, like I said, my moon ritual is pretty much just about me spending some time intentionally with myself. And during the full moon, I'll obviously be just like moon gazing. It's one of my favorite things to do. But during the new moon, it's more of a even more introspective thing because you can't really see the moon. Be intentional with your own cycles as you observe nature's cycles. So happy full moon if you're watching this on the full moon, or a new moon, or any moon. And I am sending you the best vibes ever. I hope that you'll listen to my new song, Listen to the Moon. I hope you'll stick around, add me to your playlist, keep an eye out for what's coming, and I hope to see you soon.